Let's do the Halloween song book tag.
I'm just sitting here.
Hi book friends, I'm Mara Lee. Welcome to my channel, Book Omens. Today I wanted to do the Halloween song book tag. This is a new tag that was originally created by Nicole over at A Beautiful Chaos of Books. And I just thought this would be really fun to do because all the questions are based on Halloween songs. Nicole has a Spotify playlist of all the songs linked on her video, and I will make sure and link to her video so that you guys can go and listen to the music if you want to. And as usual, I like to talk about middle grade, YA, and adult books, so my answers will have a mixture of all three of those age ranges. All right, so let's get started. Okay, so the first question was Thriller, a book that was an absolute page turner. Keep in mind that I like slower paced atmospheric books, so your idea of a thriller might be a little bit different than mine, but my answer for this is The Night Gardener by Jonathan Oxer. Siblings Molly and Kip are looking for a better place, and so because of that, they take a job at a creepy, crumbling old manor house. But things, as always, aren't quite what they seem. And soon the children are confronted by a mysterious, creepy stranger who wanders into the house at night. And he threatens not only their safety, but their very lives. This was a page turner for me. I couldn't put it down. I absolutely loved it. I have also read the book Sweep by Jonathan Oxer, and he's definitely an author that I am watching. I plan to read his other books. I believe Peter Nimble and His Fantastic Eyes is actually, this book is actually set in that universe. And yeah, he's an author that I am watching. The next question is Somebody's Watching Me, a book that gave you the serious creeps. My obvious answer for this is The Woman in Black by Susan Hill, but I have talked about this book already so many times in other videos that I also chose a middle grade book, and that book is Christina's Ghost by Betty Wren Wright. This book seriously creeped me out when I was a kid. Like, I remember I had to keep it hidden behind the other books on my bookshelf so that I didn't have to look at it. And I used to be scared of attics for years because of this book. So Christina is really upset that she is forced to spend the summer with her grumpy old uncle in his Victorian, creepy old house. But on her first day there, she discovers a mysterious little ghost boy who seems to need her help. And she comes to realize that the house contains a mystery that was never solved, and the little ghost boy lies at the heart of it all. And worst of all, there is an evil presence in the attic, lurking, waiting, and hoping to frighten her away. Question number 3 is Vampire, a book you hated so much it was soul-sucking. Okay, so my answer for this is the classic Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. I don't actually hate this book. In fact, I really enjoyed reading it. It was a lot of fun. The actual story of Frankenstein is very different than what you usually hear of in the movies, so it's definitely worth a read. But basically, I did not like the main character of Dr. Frankenstein. He is just such a big whiner. He has a passion for grave digging and hacking bodies apart, only to sew them together again into mismatched, miscellaneous pieces. And he loved all that. He was really interested in the buildup of what it was possible that he could do with his science. But the moment he gave his creation life, that seems to be where ultimately he drew the line mentally. That's the moment when he became so horrified at what he had done that he basically dropped everything and ran away. So he basically left his new creation totally and utterly alone, and then spent the rest of the story whining and complaining and being sick about what he had done, and caused himself a mental breakdown. And the poor creature he created just wanted to be loved. I get that some of the thought in this is that your experiences in life shape you and make you what you are. And that definitely happens to the monster in this book. And what experiences the monster had. He was shunned and spurned at every turn. No wonder he turned out all angry and evil. So can you guess which character I am more sympathetic to? Question number 4 is a book featuring witchcraft or magic. And my answer is The Babysitter's Coven by Kate Williams. I actually just started reading this book. I'm only a few pages in and it's pretty cute so far. In this book, 17-year-old Esme Pearl has a babysitter's club. And that's a good thing because as it turns out, she could really use the money. Let's just say she owes some people for a tree. And then there is also Cassandra Heaven, who has a rebellious streak a mile wide. And she's actually willing to do anything to join in on Esme's babysitter's club. Why is this, you may ask? Well, it's because of the mysterious note her mother left her. It simply said, "Find the babysitters. Love, Mom." So it turns out that Esme and Cassandra have more in common than they originally thought, and they learn what being a babysitter really means. All this involves magic, superpowers, magical rituals, and saving the innocent from a seriously terrifying evil, and all before the parents get home. Question number 5 is, this is Halloween. Your favorite treat or snack to eat while reading? I usually don't eat while I read, but I do like chocolate. And I am also one of those people who likes candy corn. Question 6. Let's do the time warp again. Let's do the time warp again. Okay, I just had to sing that. What book or books do you like to return to this time of year? So that would be anything creepy, spooky, or cozy. Question number 7 is Hungry Like the Wolf, a book you loved so much you devoured. And my answer to that would be Through the Woods by Emily Carroll. This is a graphic book that has 5 short stories in it. And the illustrations are amazingly creepy, and I just loved it. I sat and read this like within an hour. The stories in this book are called Our Neighbor's House, A Lady's Hands Are Cold, His Face All Red, My Friend Jana, and lastly, The Nesting Place. Question number 8, The Addams Family, a book featuring a dysfunctional family. Okay, so my choice for this one is Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. Just look at this cover. I love this cover. Here's the back, the string that goes around with the heart. Now, Jane Eyre is a classic Gothic novel that I absolutely love. And in fact, it has one of my favorite quotes on the back. I'm just going to read it here. "I sometimes have a queer feeling with regard to you, especially when you are near me as now. It is as if I had a string somewhere under my left ribs tightly and inextricably knotted to a similar string situated in the corresponding quarter of your little frame. And if that boisterous channel and 200 miles or so of land come broad between us, I am afraid that cord of communion will be snapped. And then I've a nervous notion I should take to bleeding inwardly." So Jane was orphaned as a young child and forced to live with relations that were not kind to her. And then she was forced to go to a school that was almost worse than living with her relations. The living conditions there were horrible. But after having been trained as a governess, she needs all the courage she can muster to go and work for the mysterious and brooding Edward Rochester, and to care for his ward, little Adele. So Mr. Rochester is definitely hiding a dark secret, but this draws Jane in all the more, and she can't help falling head over heels in forbidden love with him. So yeah, this is a Gothic classic, and I just love it. Question number 9. Scary monsters and super creeps, a book genre that you are scared or intimidated to pick up. So my answer to this would be body horror. Just no. Okay, question number 10. A book with a completely different and unique premise. So I picked a short story for this answer. It's called Mrs. Sorensen and the Sasquatch by Kelly Barnhill. It is totally worth a read, and I believe it is available online. If I can find it, I will link it. So after Mr. Sorensen dies, his lovely, kind-hearted widow falls in love with a most unsuitable mate. And completely scandalized, the local Paris turns to the old priest to fix the situation and hopefully return things to their proper order. So the priest tries his best to convince poor Mrs. Sorensen to reject the green world and live as a proper widow ought. But of course, Mrs. Sorensen has plans of her own and defies everyone's expectations. Okay, so that's the end of the Halloween song book tag. I had a lot of fun doing this. What are some of the answers that you would have chosen for these questions? Go ahead and let me know down in the comments. I would love to talk about it more. And I will see you in my next video. I post every week. Bye.